Welcome to Becoming, hosted by the Colorado State Employee Assistance Program. On this podcast, we interview state employees about how they adopted different mindsets that changed how they lived their lives. We hope these conversations inspire you to reflect on your own mindsets, which could help improve your overall mental health and well-being. David, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. Warmer weather's on the way, so
That's right.
I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Yep.
David, tell me about your day-to-day. What's your role right now, and how does that look day-to-day?
For sure. So before I start, I just want to say thank you for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Me just being an avid podcaster, I think it's more digestible, and I think it's a greater outlet for people to listen to and just get information.
Yeah.
So with that being said, in the Department of Corrections, I'm a Faith and Citizens Program Regional Coordinator. Basically, I'm an advocate for all offenders who are in a faith group, who are in a religion and need advocacy, because when you go to prison, you don't necessarily lose all your religious rights. You don't lose all your liberties. You still hold some. You still have the ability and the right and the liberty to practice your religion and have an outlet and have resources that support in a roundabout way the rehabilitation.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I handle over 6 facilities within my area. I have Sterling all the way down to Trinidad. So that's almost Nebraska to New Mexico.
Wow.
Lyman to Bent County, so almost to Kansas. I operate in a team. There's only 5 or 6 of us, and we handle all, like I said, grievances, lawsuits, but on the positive side, advocacy, volunteers who come in and really do the legwork of the department, and where I like to say that, true rehabilitation starts with program implementation. The department couldn't do it. We couldn't do it on our own.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So do you interface with inmates or people who are incarcerated at all?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. In the facilities, in every prison, there's something called a volunteer facility coordinator. I'm a regional coordinator. So I'm kind of in a way, not their supervisor, but I'm like a helper, a big brother, if you will, where I come in and I just say, hey, what can I do for you? What resources can I pull in? What hyper-local activities, groups, or volunteer groups or churches around the facility, around the cities that would surround the facility, how can we be more inclusive?
This isn't a common role people hear about, especially in DOC.
Right.
So how did you even get to this point?
Man, I had applied from 2016 to probably last year, so it's about 9 years. I had applied for almost 100 plus state jobs.
Wow.
Would interview for some, didn't get any. And last May, I believe, I saw a posting for a Faith and Citizen Regional Program Coordinator for the DOC. I was like, what is this? And I need to get behind this because it's super holistic, super supportive, and me coming from the realm of school social work and just social justice, I thought I had worked with kids for so long, and we consider that downstream, right? That to go further past that downstream would be to work with adults.
So it sounds like you've assumed a position of someone who guides often.
Right. Yes.
Whether it's youth and now adults in correctional facility settings.
Absolutely.
What traits did you want to highlight for us today on the show?
Well, if you really want to succeed in any realm, professionally, in your job, with your family, with the trade, how do you make the big picture wallet-sized? In the military, we said, you eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Wow.
You get through college one course at a time. You raise a child one day at a time. I wanted to really highlight and just speak towards the quality of resilience, which when you can take actionable bite-sized chunks towards your dream or towards that house you're saving up for or that degree you're trying to get, right? It takes some grit. It honestly takes some audacity.
How did you come to understand this sort of perspective that you have of having to take this big thing and make it wallet-sized?
Honestly, Meta, to tell my story is to tell countless other stories, because we come from a tribe. I don't mean just a Native American tribe. I am part Native American, Blackfoot tribe.
Yeah.
That's not what I mean. What I mean is whether it was your actual parents or step-parents or someone who was really influential in your life to just guide you. I bring up childhood a lot because we are shaped by our early experiences. My childhood, it's funny enough that in a roundabout way, I should be on the other side of the gates. I should be an offender. I should be a prisoner. Just coming from my family, it was a lot of riddled with gangs, right? That was a big thing. And in the Stratton Meadows area, just the south side of Colorado Springs, it may look beautiful, but then there's those pockets of just low socioeconomic neighborhoods and poverty and what that brings, right? It's a mindset of, we'll never get past Nevada to the Broadmoor. We'll never get up north. So we just embrace kind of the mess that is. We don't make a message out of our mess, right? It just stays like that. So I credit a lot of my success now towards my faith, right? Believing in something higher than myself and believing that I'm a part of that and I can create some good.
Do you feel like, some of the figures in your life that you were exposed to, were they able to give you examples of what not to be in productive ways?
So a little personal.
Sure.
I was born in 1997. My dad was arrested by the DEA in 1998. So when I was a baby, and I didn't learn this story until years later because that's not really a child's.
It's a lot for a kid.
It's a lot to hear, right?
Yeah.
But hearing the story, my dad basically wiggled out and was able to face the consequences and receive one felony out of a lot, right? And now he has a very prestigious job in the Colorado Springs utilities. It's unheard of. And when I asked my dad, well, what's your key to this success? He never lied. He always told the truth. So that was another, poof.
Yeah.
Like a cloud over my mind, wow, okay, if I be honest and if I be really pure, and even if I make a mistake, forgetting the mistake and remembering the lesson, right? Because you have to pick up one end of the stick to pick up the other, right? So making the mistake, but then applying that lesson and just telling the truth on a job application or in an interview, it gets you so much further and you can kind of hit the right buttons. And God, the universe, Krishna, whatever you want to call it, just the force that operates between everything.
Yeah.
It responds positively to you when you respond positively to really yourself and really your future self.
No, that's beautiful, David, for sure. I'm curious, how do, all of these traits that we've talked about, how do these traits manifest in your work with the state?
I think that the work I do requires me to be not so punitive. I think in the Department of Corrections, and this kind of will bleed into the workplace, right? When an offender is sentenced, that's their sentence. Back in the day, it was definitely punitive. You came to prison, but then it kind of stacked up when it came to restrictions or when we had the hole back in the day, right? Things are changing. And so I like to say that I bring a more restorative and holistic viewpoint to advocacy. I look at it from a viewpoint of, well, I know programs equal rehabilitation, and the DOC's motto is to create and implement a safer Colorado via rigorous programming. I try to offer what I would need if I was in that situation. So I don't know what you would call that. I think that's a lot of self-reflection and empathy. That's the word. So I keep that in mind too when it comes to offenders. These are going to be our neighbors one day.
Yeah.
I forget the percentage, but a high amount of not everybody's doing life in the Department of Corrections. They have an out date. So my work is very imperative because if we didn't have this program or my position or the positions I work with, these guys would be just sitting on their hands, and we know the saying about idle time. It makes for the devil's work.
I like the idea of this future thinking, right? This forward thinking, because I think the common misconception that people have of a correctional facility is put them there, lock them up, throw away the key. People say the phrase do your time. Right? Or the phrase, you've paid your debt to society, right? And not really focused on, well, what happens in there before they get out to prepare them for being part of our community again.
Because you know what? If you build a house with the same old bricks, you're going to get the same old house.
Right. And I think that's where these ideas that you're bringing up of resilience and honesty and accountability come in, because you can't have those transformations unless you build those concepts into the process too.
Exactly.
Right.
I think to speak to the staff side, because I'm speaking a lot towards the offenders, which is a lot of my position in unit, but just a moment for the staff. The 1% will always affect the 99%. I'm speaking to the staff. I'm speaking to the CO1s, 2s, 3s, case managers, admins, those who really work in facilities. This is for you. If you feel like what you're doing is very minuscule or it doesn't matter, you never know how far a conversation can go or words of encouragement can go that will last in the mind and like kind of imprint on the subconscious, because that's your self-image of what these guys and girls behind the wall, they have all the time in the world. But if they can have one mustard seed planted into their mind, what we know about the faith of a mustard seed, it can grow into a field of grain. It just takes time and patience. A minuscule act or words you give to an offender, whether they're in YOS and they're 13, 14, they're fresh into prison, or they're at Sterling or Centennial CSP, the level 5s, and they're kind of keep hitting their head on the wall figuratively and just can't seem to get it. I believe in resiliency. I believe that you're under no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. I heard that, Jim, when I was in the military. I was like, wow, you're under no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago. So things can always change. Yeah. You can always change.
Are there any sort of strategies or tools, techniques that you maybe might offer other state employees to achieve resiliency too?
That's a great question. And zooming out from DOC, and I'm speaking to all of my brothers and sisters who are in the state of Colorado, whether, Department of Personnel or DHS or CDOC or Department of Ed. And it's funny, you're meta, but take a meta moment. What that means is on your break, go outside if you can and just sit with no headphones in. You could sit at a park, sit at a bench, and take a meta moment to kind of just be outside, be with the wind, feel the moment. And it's almost a regrounding, a recalibration, and a reset. I think another actionable or a good technique that you can use, it came from Stephen Covey as well. Plan your weeks. I'm looking at a whiteboard behind you. Yeah. Right. And you could write out Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Thursday, whatever your schedule is. Plan weekly, but adjust daily. So plan your weeks out, but adjust daily, because the big picture is there for the week, but the wallet size is the day. Yeah. And you can kind of seize the day and lean into it.
Yeah. I love that. Is there anything else that you maybe want to share that we didn't cover?
How much time we got? I brought 2 books with me, and if you're listening, these books are on audiobooks. I have them in person and on audio. The first one is called Wishes Fulfilled by Dr. Wayne Dyer. If you are a little bit older, he was a big prominent speaker and kind of one of the pioneers of just new era thinking in terms of detachment, like you said, and manifestation and visualization. It's called Wishes Fulfilled by Dr. Wayne Dyer. The next book I brought, you've definitely probably heard of it. It's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It was written over 100 years ago. This book I could read over and over and over again. I think I still miss something every time. Wow. Again, when it comes to how we speak, how we choose to speak to yourself. Yeah. And I think that's one thing I just kind of want to, that could be a push pin in the conversation. Our minds are so powerful that, and this is the quote from Henry Ford, if you think you can or you can't do something, you're right.
You're right. Yeah.
If you haven't been told lately, and this is to any state employee, you are the 1% that is going to push, innovate, grow, strengthen the 99%. Yeah. And that's all. Yeah. Again, my name is David Flanagan. I work for DOC in Colorado Springs. If I ever bump into you and you've heard my story, if you heard this podcast, please let me know, because this conversation I could carry forever.
Yeah. For sure. Well, David, it's been a pleasure, man, and I'm really glad you were able to come and share your story and give us all your insights from your perspective. Thanks for being here.
Meta, thank you so much. Thank you, guys.